Anytime I'm near somewhere named Wise, I have to check it out. And I'm in Wise County, Texas. And I'm in the county seat, Decatur, Texas. Behind me is the historic courthouse, and right behind me is what they call the last phone booth. And it doesn't work anymore, and I'm not sure it's actually the last phone booth, but that's what it says on the map. So kind of funny. But yeah, so we're here to, check out some things. I was really struck by how impressive the courthouse is back there. And, it's under construction, kind of restoration, I guess you could say. Really historic place. And, Wise County was named after Henry Wise. And if you remember, about a year ago, I went to Wise, Virginia, which was also named after Henry Wise. He was the governor of Virginia, and he supported Texas being annexed from the United States back in the day. And so they named a county after him for his nice gesture, I guess. So yeah, but we're here in Decatur. It's population 6,500. The county has almost 70,000 people, but we're not here to go to a place like this, even though there is some cool stuff in Decatur. But we're gonna go check out some ghost towns in the area. So let's head out of the busy, city of 6,500 and head to where there's far less people. Back in the early 1870s, there were families that lived in this area, kind of the southwestern corner of the county here, and they petitioned to have a post office, and they set up Boonsville, and it was nearby Boone's Creek, so that's obviously where it got its name. Actually, the original post office was on Boone's Creek, and then they moved it here and basically started the town, what is known now as Boonsville. They had a school which was very significant to the community, and it grew, and it was a nice little town of between 100 and 200 people. And then the school consolidated, and when that happened, they had a real drop in population, and that's kind of a common theme in a lot of towns, is when the school leaves, so do the families. They move somewhere closer to the schools. And but then they had a little bit of a effort to revitalize the town. They built this community center, and they're all around town. There's little touches of history that they've shown. There's a little marker here right by the community center that tells the story of oil being discovered in 1950 just north of here. And so they didn't just let the town die. It's certainly unincorporated these days, and I'm sure a fraction of what it used to be, but still a very nice place to start our day here in southwest Wise County. Just down the road from Boonsville is Balsora, and connected with Boonsville, obviously, they got the fire department. I'm here next to the fire station, which obviously those work in tandem with each other. This was originally called Wild Horse Prairie because of all the wild Mustangs that used to run around here, and then it became a community. They had a post office, they had a store, a church, and a school, and then so big enough to start a little town. The those things closed down eventually, and in the like 20s or 30s, the post office closed up, and now it's just a unincorporated community. Doesn't have a whole lot to see, but it's just kind of like a smaller version of Boonsville. There's nothing remaining of the town of Draco, something like that. And no one here has probably referenced that place in a while. The last building that was here was in 1937. It was removed, apparently. 1880s town, and it lasted for a while. It did have a school and, all the other things like some of these other places, church and general store. It had a gin, and it had variety of things. The school was open till the 30s, and it went to the nearby town of Paradise. It consolidated there. And one of the interesting things, though, is it had a horse racing track. So pretty interesting for what was probably a very small community, and hasn't been here for over 80 years. So if anybody knows anything about the horse racing that happened in Draco, Texas, I'd love to hear about it. Cottondale was started in the 1850s. It's actually one of the oldest settlements in the county, and an early settler had a plentiful crop of cotton, and word spread and people came here. They originally called it Cotton Valley, but there was already a town in Texas named Cotton Valley, I guess, at the time, and so they named it Cottondale. And it grew because of the fertile area to grow cotton, but it was short-lived when growing cotton declined, and post office closed in 1912. School that was here closed in 1933, same year as Draco, and it's kind of become just a small unincorporated community now. There are 3 churches here. I'm standing in front of one of them that was here during its heyday, and but nice little community. They have a little convenience store, gas station, grocery store. So there are a few things here that help the small community continue to do their business and their daily operations. There's actually more to Cottondale than I originally thought. The school, 1919 school, is right there. It's right next to the cemetery. And over here by the cemetery, they tell the story about Machine Gun Kelley. Machine Gun Kelley is buried in the cemetery. George Machine Gun Kelley was an American gangster from Memphis, Tennessee, who was active during the Prohibition era. His nickname came from his favorite weapon, a Thompson submachine gun. He's best known for the kidnapping of oil tycoon and businessman Charles Urschel in July 1933, which he and his gang collected $200,000 in ransom money, which would be equal to $4 million today. He was eventually caught and sentenced to life in prison. He died in Leavenworth Prison in 1954. The connection with this cemetery is his wife's stepfather was also part of the gang that got in trouble, and eventually when Kelley died, his family did not claim the body, and so his wife's stepfather had it arranged for him to be brought here to Cottondale and buried with their family plot. And there it is. George Kelley. Of course, anytime I'm near something named after me, I have to come check it out. It's not named after me. Go on, big truck. There's actually more to Cottonwood. Hello. There's actually more to Cottonwood. Cottondale. Hi. What are you looking at? What are you looking at up there?